Okay, today we're going to talk about 5 tips to have a successful first year of marriage. Let's talk about that. Okay, the first way to have a happy marriage is to love your spouse like God loves you. So, God has a love for us like nobody else can have. And if we love our spouse that way and treat them like they are gold, like they are royalty, like they're the best thing on this planet, which if you marry the person, then they should be to you. You've got to read the Bible with them. You've got to study with them. You've got to go to church with them. You've got to do all these things that shows that you love your spouse. The second tip that I have for you to live a happy first year of marriage is to go out of your way to surprise your spouse. Like if they've had a bad day at school, at work, or wherever, then take 5 minutes, stop by the grocery store, grab some flowers, grab some chocolates, grab some ice cream, some cheesecake, something that they will enjoy. You can write a note for them saying you love them, how much you care about them, how dedicated they are to their work, how much you really appreciate them, and how much they mean to you. If you don't do those things, then they're not going to know that you love them. I mean, yeah, they know that you love them. I get that. But if you don't continually show them and how much you appreciate them and do those things, then they're just going to assume that you don't care anything about them. Okay? So go out of your way to help your spouse. Like if they've got a project coming up, well, like in school or whatever, if they're still in school, college, help them get through this. Help them do some research. Help them take out the trash. Help them do laundry. Like me and my wife, what I do the dishes. She hates doing the dishes. That's okay. I don't mind it. Now she irons my clothes. She does the laundry sometimes. We clean together. We do things together. But if she's had a hard day at work and she's just not feeling it, then go out of your way to help them, whether that be your husband or your wife, whatever. Help is everything in a marriage. You married each other to be a helpmate. You're there to live life together and help each other. So do it. The third thing to live a happy first year of marriage is communication. Oh boy. Let me talk about this subject. If you live everyday life, you neglect the hard topics that we all don't want to talk about, such as money, bills, this work schedule for the week. Like if you got a business trip but you neglect to tell your wife or your husband that you're going on that trip, then yeah, you're probably gonna get into some arguments. You're probably not gonna have the greatest week or the greatest night, whatever. You are married now, right? So money is yours together, okay? You don't have, yeah, you may have separate bank accounts, but the money is supposed to be for you both. You are there to help each other. When you married, you are now one. You are not two separate people anymore. So talk to each other about your finances. Talk about how much you need to budget out your money every month. You need to sit down and have that discussion. Also about bills. Like if you got a late bill or you got a bill coming up and you don't pay it on time, but then you neglect to tell your spouse, like if you're responsible for paying that bill and you don't pay that bill, then guess what? Well, the spouse is going to find out, and then they're going to talk to you about it, and you're not going to be too happy, right? So please do yourself a favor and communicate about those things. Another thing, work schedule. This goes in tip number 3. Work schedule. If you have a business trip coming up, if you have to stay late at work, for instance, I'm a band director, and if sometimes I got to stay late at work, but if I don't communicate with my wife in advance about me staying late and I just throw it on her right then she's not going to be happy because she wants to see me. She wants to spend as much time as she can with me. So communicate about your work schedule, right? If you got to stay late and it's a last minute thing, obviously call your wife, call your husband, and talk to them about it and say, hey, I literally can't get out of this. So like last night, my wife and I were laying in bed and I said, oh, by the way, next Saturday I have to go to all state auditions with one of my students. And of course she was not happy with me at the time, but I'm sure she appreciated the fact that I told her in advance and didn't spring it on her the last minute. You know, it's a week in advance. So communication is important. So please talk to your spouse, no matter how uncomfortable it is, do it. And the earlier in your marriage you start doing this, Well, at first it's going to be uncomfortable. You're not, it's not going to be something you're going to want to talk about. But if you start early, then gradually go and talk about things, then it's going to be fine. But if you neglect those tough topics, then I'm sorry, but you're gonna have some arguments, okay? Now, I'm not gonna say if you do all these things I'm saying to you that you're not gonna have any arguments. You are. I mean, but you have to handle them professionally and not yell at your spouse, not cause a ruckus, but instead talk like an adult to your spouse about these issues, okay? Number 4, the fourth thing that you can do to kind of help your spouse, help each other, and be happy in your first year of marriage is to put away your phone. Okay, here it is. When we first got married, my wife and I, we were laying in bed, and every night before we go to bed, we usually look at Facebook, look at Instagram, emails, things like that before we go to bed. And sometimes we fell asleep just looking at our phone, and we neglected to tell each other we love each other before we went to bed. We forgot to say our bedtime prayers that we usually say every night. And I didn't like that. You know, what if one of us passed away in our sleep and we didn't tell each other we love each other before we fell asleep? To me, that's not cool, okay? So, one thing that I started doing, even when I first get home, I change clothes from work, I plug in my phone on my charger on my nightstand, and I don't look at it again. I maybe look at it once or twice the whole night. Because you know why? We are not guaranteed tomorrow. So spend that time with your spouse off your phone. Don't be on Facebook neglecting your spouse, not talking to them about how their day went, none of that. That, in the end, you're going to grow apart from each other, and you're not going to have a good marriage. Okay? You've got to spend time together. You married that person for a reason. You like spending time with them. If you married that person because of another reason, well, you're probably not in it for the right reasons. Okay? You've got to love that person, so that means spending time with that person. Tip number 5, have fun. If you don't have fun in marriage, you are doing it wrong. Take a trip somewhere if you got the extra funds. Go for a walk outside. Go climb a mountain. Sit on the couch. Watch The Bachelor, even though you might not like The Bachelor. Spend that time with your spouse and have fun. We are not promised tomorrow. And if you spend time looking on Facebook, not communicating with your spouse, not doing all these tips that I have said in this video, then your marriage is not going to be as happy as you'd like it to be. Just follow these 5 steps and you'll have a happy marriage. If you like the stuff we've talked about today, then please click subscribe down below. It's going to be over here somewhere. And you'll see what I have on this channel. So my channel is all about teach to inspire. Okay, I have a section for life, education, and music. So please, if you like the stuff in this video, then click down below. And thank you for everything. Bye.